Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sara Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. This week, I'm excited to show you projects featuring Paper Wish's Steampunk for Everyone collection. I have some really fun techniques to share with you today. And today we're going to be playing with an absolutely stunning collection of supplies that are available exclusively from Paper Wishes. We have 12 by 12 patterned steampunk cardstock, plus a set of coordinating dies. We have chipboard embellishments. We have gold metallic cardstock, gold caviar beads, and to make it all complete, we are using my all-time favorite card base, Paper Wishes 5 by 6.5 inch blank white cards, and they will come with envelopes for your money saver today. So let's take a closer look here. I've got so much on my table. I'll move aside a few things and we can take a closer look, beginning with our paper pack. So 12 by 12 patterned cardstock. You can see all of the images here, these designs. You'll have 12 coordinating 12 by 12 sheets, including 116 cutouts. Now you've got two each of 12 different paper designs. So let's have a look here. And we can start with this first set. These are the cutouts. So you can see when we talk about steampunk, it's maybe something a little bit different than what we have thought of in the past. Certainly you've got the various modes of transportation, both old-fashioned and more modern inventions. Lots of clocks and gears and compasses. In this case, you've also got some really beautiful borders to coordinate with these easy to cut out images. Then we also have coordinating background papers. But have a look. I think some of these elements are just a little bit surprising, something maybe a bit unexpected when you think of steampunk. Certainly, these flowers are, and this is one of my favorite sheets. I think these are just absolutely beautiful. Again, you've got a border pattern on here. You've got a coordinating design. So if you just have a look with these two designs, for example, or even with these two, those go together beautifully. You've also got some really fun and quirky elements in here as well. On the back, you've got another one of those beautiful background sheets. Here's another set with our winged things. So we've got some dragonflies and butterflies. And what I love about these cutouts is they're super simple to cut out. So just use your paper trimmer to trim along those edges, and they make a knockout card focal. Again, here's one of the pattern papers. Then you've got some cutout elements here. On the back, another beautiful design there. So this is our 12 by 12 patterned cardstock pack. Now to go along, we have a set of dies. These are absolutely stunning. So the Steampunk for Everyone die set, you have 14 cutting dies on here. Now you'll notice that you've got some elements that go as standalone units. So for example, this piece here, you also have some that can be layered up. So if you take a look at the butterfly, which we will look at a lot today, you've got one main piece. You can use this as is, but you've also got some extra wings, and you have the butterfly body here, so you can create a layered look. Same thing here with our mouse. He's got a little top hat and some feet there, and then also the elephant. So the elephant as one main shape, and then also the trunk can be layered separately, like Debbie did on the back. So have a look at that beautiful card example. And she used some ink on the elephant and then popped that together with some foam tape. Really stunning design. So you've got lots of different possibilities just with the die set. Then we've also got a chipboard set too, of course. So the Steampunk for Everyone chipboard elements, you've got 17 of those. And these are really beautiful laser cut images. You can use them as they come, of course. You can also alter them, and I'll show you that today too. Again, on the back, you have another project idea featuring some of those elements there, and I think Debbie has also done some inking and some pen work on here too. So really beautiful designs. Then there's still more. We've got some gold cardstock. This is absolutely one of my favorites. You have 3 sheets of 8.5 by 11 gold metallic cardstock. Goes perfectly, as you can imagine, with your various steampunk elements. It also die cuts beautifully, and I'll show you some examples of that. So what I like about this gold metallic cardstock is it is shiny, but it's not a highly reflective shine. You can use it in bigger pieces. You can also simply cut it apart, use it as borders or for matting. It really does make a nice big impact. Okay, keeping on, we've also got today some gold pearl caviar beads. Now these are 2 millimeter wide, no hole beads. They come in a little 3 by 4 inch biodegradable Ziploc bag. This contains 3 tablespoons of the beads. Now I've used this one a lot and it looks like I still have quite a lot left to go. So this is a super value. Now you can use Cosmic Shimmer Specialist acrylic glue to glue these on. They do hold on beautifully and they add a really nice touch. And I think it just goes beautifully with this. Then last but definitely not least, we also have some blank white cards. So these are from Paper Wishes. This is their 10 scored white blank cards and envelope set. Really a classic and a great basic to have in your stash. I have a giant stack of these, and this is what I really prefer to do my card making on. So they will come scored but unfolded. You simply fold that up. I use a bone folder, give it a nice crisp crease, and away you go. They're a perfect size, being 5 by 6.5 inches, and they are the perfect size to coordinate with, of course, these larger cutouts in our paper pack. So you can see how that just makes a really simple and easy focal on there. Now, Paulette has done a special walkthrough featuring all of the Steampunk for Everyone elements because there are even more elements in this collection. So you can see a special webisode that she has done there, and you can see even more projects. But for today, I've got some really fun things for you, also some demos. I'm really glad that you're here today with me, and I'm excited to explore the creative possibilities of steampunk with you. So come play with us. Let's start with this simple card layout, which uses one of the large cutout images as a standout focal. Now, I think when you have something that is a fairly large size and something that is also as beautifully collaged as this piece, you don't have to add a whole lot to it to have a beautiful card project. And so all I've done is simply matted this piece onto tan cardstock before adding it to the front of my card. Now the cardstock pack that I'm working with is, of course, the Steampunk for Everyone cardstock set. You can see the array of paper colors down here. The color palette is, of course, designed to coordinate perfectly with our pattern papers. And I love it when things come together so easily. So I know that this tan cardstock is going to be the perfect match for the tans and the browns in the background paper and in my focal cutout. Just makes everything so much easier. So the background of my card is this really pretty green design. Now I've only got half of this sheet left here, as you can see, but it's got some really beautiful faux texture. You've got some script on here. You've got the cogs and the gears going along the edges and the borders. And you've also got this really nice faux texture. So all I need to do after I mat this is simply place it on here and away we go. So with my 5 by 6.5 inch card blank, I've simply covered the front of my card with a portion of that paper, and I can decide which of the areas I want to use in the corners. Simply glue that down, trim around the outside edge, and add my piece on top. So simple to do. Now, one of the fun things I really like to do when I've got a new set of pattern papers, and especially when they come with perfectly matching cutouts, I like to have a little bit of a play and see which of my pattern papers I want to combine with my focals. So of course I've used the green in the end, but I thought it would be fun to look at how this might look on the brown. I think that's also really pretty. There's also this gold and yellow combination. I thought that looked really nice too. So there were lots of possibilities here, and then I thought, oh, this would be fun maybe I want to use the butterfly instead. This looks great on the brown. Let's see, it also looks beautiful on the green, and how different those look from the brown to the green. Really fun. And then, of course, on our yellow piece, beautiful, really stunning. So that's our butterfly. Well, there's also a really pretty flower, and I think that just looks nice. Of course, that can go perfectly on the green as well. And it also looks really nice on that brown. So lots of different creative possibilities here, and I just love having a chance to play around with those and see what you can do. So then back to the card, I've added a Script Dazzle thank you message down at the bottom. I use the Script Dazzles a lot, you've probably noticed. So they come on sheets that look like this, or if you are someone like me and you use them all the time, you get down to the very, very end bits. So what I love about these, not only do you have a beautiful message in a gorgeous and easy to read script, and they come in a variety of different messages, different sizes in terms of, like, you've got the single word hello, and then you've also got thank you all as one large piece. And you also have a lot of these little small elements too, which work beautifully as accents. So I've used some of these hearts on here just to accent some of the images already printed onto my focal. And then, of course, I've got my die cut element up here. So I'll show you again the die set. It's this piece right here. It's also this little guy down here too. So I've die cut 2 of these stars and pop them up on foam tape just to accent our main piece here. So I've die cut those from gold cardstock, but you can see just how beautiful that is. Depending on whatever kind of cardstock you cut it out from, of course you can have it facing any different direction. You can also have these combined with one another, so you could do some overlapping. Let's see if I can get this on here, and you can grow your different designs too. So you could create a really cool border like this as well. So that's on the front of my card. And then for my card inside, I have some more of the green cardstock and a border cut from the paper pack. I also have another gold metallic cardstock die cut image down here at the bottom. Here's another card project that takes advantage of those large cutout elements to create a standout focal. I love this focal image. I think the color palette is maybe a bit of a surprise. When you think of steampunk, maybe like me, you tend to think more of browns and grays and more industrial colors. But here we've got some really pretty blue and then lighter shades with the cream in here. I love this frame going around the outside edge, and of course that beautiful dragonfly. Something just a little bit surprising. So here I've simply matted this onto some brown cardstock, and then I've placed it on top of 2 different pattern papers. So the border that you see here is this sheet, and then on top I'm using this one here, which looks like a blueprint almost. So I've got that layered on top. Those 2 designs together just create a really nice background. Then I've also got some additional embellishing here with this gold metallic border. It's made with the Luscious Lace die and some metallic gold cardstock. So the Luscious Lace die is one that I use a lot. You've got 2 pieces in here. You have a 4-inch wide doily image, and then you've also got this border. This border is invaluable. I use it all the time. It's 1 inch wide, and it just makes a really perfect accent piece along the edge of your card. So that's what I've done here. Now, when you're die cutting something like this, something as intricate as this, I've got a couple of tips for you, especially if you're working with a sturdy cardstock like this gold metallic. So what I like to do is simply trim out from my main piece of cardstock or paper the piece that I want to die cut. And then I add a little bit of the quick release die paper. It comes on a roll that looks like this. I use my scissors to cut off a piece just about the same width as my die. Doesn't need to be any wider than that. Layer the 3 together. So my die is cutting side down. And then I take my hunky-dory low-tack tape, pull off a little bit of it, and secure everything down in place. Run it through my die cutting machine. And then I will have a piece that looks like this. Really beautiful and intricate. Now when it comes to gluing this in place, I have another recommendation for you, which are sticky specs. And these are 4 A4 size sheets, a little bit larger than 8.5 by 11. And they're full of micro dots of adhesive. So rather than dealing with a whole A4 size sheet, I just use my scissors to cut off a piece, and this I can have out on my work surface. It's just a little bit easier to handle. Let me grab another piece of paper here. And you've got the orange side, and then you've got this white side. This is the liner. So when you pull this back, the orange side has your adhesive. So I just place this on here, press it on there, walk it along, pulling off those micro dots. And then when I place this down onto whatever surface I'm using, I don't have to worry about wet glue showing through. I don't have to worry about anything getting messy or seeping through that beautiful intricate border on there. So 2 recommendations for you with that, just to make it a little bit easier. Then I've also got some chipboard elements from the chipboard set. So let's take another look at this. You've got 17 elements on here, all total. You can use them as they are because they're beautiful, just with this sort of natural bone color. But you can also alter them. And one way I like to alter them is with an ink pad. And here I've used the Delicata Gold Pigment ink pad to add some color to these. It's a really easy process to do. I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, and I've trimmed out this car image from the background sheet. I've left on a little bit here so I've got something to hang on to when I'm inking. It is such a simple process. Just take off that lid and then press the ink directly down onto your piece. Now, depending on how juicy your ink pad is, you may want to go for a lighter touch to start with. My ink pad has been used and used and used. Time for a refresher. So I'm going to come back and add a little bit more color here repeatedly. But I think you can see how this is picking up that gorgeous color. Now, because a pigment ink pad will take a little bit longer to dry, I like to leave this as it is on the scrap piece of paper until I make sure that it is totally dry, and then I can handle it. And here you can see I've added quite a lot of that gold ink on these 2 large pieces, and then I've also added another little small piece here in the center of the flower. I'm using some of Hunky Dory's self-adhesive embellishments. As you can see, I like these a whole lot. I've only got 1 left of that gold. Couple more of the silver left on here too, and these are great. They're self-adhesive. Just pop them off of the liner sheet and they make a really nice accent here. And then I've got a couple more gold dazzle hearts interspersed into my background. And then for the inside of the card, I've got another one of the gold script dazzles just for you. I have some of that beautiful blue pattern paper. I've got a border here and a happy birthday die cut. Now these are from the die cut set. So again, another coordinating element. You can see that happy birthday on there matches perfectly and can be used, of course, on the inside of the card or for the front. My center step card project also features one of the large images as a focal, and it's accented by more chipboard. In this case, the chipboard has been altered with markers, and I'm using the tri-blend markers from Crafter's Companion for this. So let's have a look at this technique, and then we'll talk about the card format, that center step design. So let me move this out of the way. And again, I'm going to grab another one of these chipboard pieces by snipping it out of the main backing and still leaving a little bit of excess around here to kind of hang on to. So the markers that I'm using for today's project, and the one that I used on the center step card. I've got 3 here. I have the coral blend, dark red blend, and light green blend. Now the thing about the tri-blend markers that I really like is that you've got 3 shades of one color per marker, which means that you have a lot of markers and a lot of colors in just a couple of pens. So that's really nice, especially for those of us who don't have space or budget for a huge pen set. So what I'll do is come in here with the coral blend to start with. And if I turn this around here, you'll notice that there are bands around the pen, which indicate this is the light, this is the mid, and this is the dark of this shade. So, or 3 different shades of one color, which means that you can choose depending on the intensity. So I'm going to use dark on here just so that we can really see it. And I'm just going to come along the edges here. Now the tips on these pens are quite fine and pointed, which makes it easy to come along some of these areas. You'll notice I've overspilled onto some of the backing. That's totally okay because I'll pull this out later. So this is with the darkest. And then maybe what I'll do is come in with the lightest for the main portion of this top hat. And then I can accent the details on here with some of the other colors. Now you can do as much or as little of coloring and blending on here as you wish. I could probably color all day, but for the interest of time, maybe we want to keep things a little bit quicker around here. Okay, so I've got that. So that's with our coral. And then I'll come in with the green. I'm going to use the lighter just to do a little bit of accenting around here. And you can see already how that contrast really pops out. So these are cogs and gears accenting the hat, but they can be made to look like flowers if I want. I'll add a little bit of color on here. And then with the dark red, I'll use the light of the dark red and pop out some of these elements here. Maybe I'll do the base in alternating colors. And this chipboard is nice and sturdy, so it can withhold these strong ink colors here. Accent that, and then let's see, I'll come back with the medium of this coral and pop some color down here. Alrighty, so you can see it's quick and it's easy to do. And then I can just simply pop this out from the backing piece. I may need to grab my scissors and snip that out, and I will have my completed embellishment. And that's what I've done here for my floral element. I've used those exact same 3 colors and just colored those in quickly and easily. And I did leave a little bit of that sort of nature or natural color there in the backing. I've also got some of the hunky-dory embellishments on here too. I've got a border of that gold cardstock and then a dazzle message here. Now for the center step card, it's going to open like so. It's just a really fun card design, one that I really enjoy making and gifting. And this is from the center step cutting die set. You've got 1 piece here. And all you need to do is simply die cut this piece out from your cardstock of choice. You'll have your fold marks indicated on here, your mountain folds and valley folds. It will all come together like so. You may want to use a bone folder to accent that. Now for my card, because I was using this patterned green cardstock and knowing that on the other side I've got some cutout images, I didn't want them showing on the inside, so instead I die cut the base piece from cardstock, plain cardstock, and then I die cut a second portion from that green pattern paper and then nested the 2 together. So then that way you can have a piece that is patterned, and it works really nicely if you've got something on the back side that you don't want showing when you open the card. So that's what I've done here. And you can also see on the back some of that green cardstock. And then this is as far as that pattern paper goes. And then I've accented it with another little bit of cardstock. Then I've got my beautiful floral element here matted up onto light green cardstock. And this is all I need to do to accent this portion here. I've got a couple of little script dazzle hearts, and again some of those hunky-dory pieces here. For the inside of my card, I've got another bit of pattern paper, this border, and then the Just Because dazzle. We are really spoiled for choice when it comes to embellishments with this collection, and I wanted to share with you two really simple techniques to do using our cutting die set. So here I've got to start two sections where I've got the beautiful gear element here. This one right here, I've got a set down here at the bottom tucked underneath my focal, and then another one up here at the top. And when I move this, you can see the shine on there, but you might also notice that that shine is a little bit muted. It looks a little bit distressed because I've done some sanding with the sanding tool. So what I'm going to do is simply bring in a piece of scrap paper and one of the dies, simply die cut from that gold metallic cardstock. Bright, beautiful, and shiny. Of course, I can use this as it is, but if I want to tone things down and get a little bit of a more distressed effect, all I need to do is use my sanding tool. Now, this die cut element is not super intricate, but it is a little bit fragile here, so I do want to make sure when I'm sanding this that I'm doing so gently to start with, and I'm holding this side of it down so that I make sure I don't overdo my sanding. And what you can do also is shift directions of your sanding tool so that you get a really cool scuffy look. So you can see some of my sanded off paper down here on my scrap piece, but have a look, absolutely beautiful. Now this looks great on the gold metallic. You can also use it, I'll give you a sneak peek here, on just plain cardstock. So that's another fun way to look at this too. So once I've got these sanded down, I've just tucked them underneath my focal element on here. Now another thing you'll notice is this beautiful butterfly die. So with this die, you've got a couple of different options actually. As we pointed out earlier, you've got a large butterfly image which can be used as it is. But then you've also got two wings and the butterfly body down here separately. So you can combine them. And let me bring back in this white piece so you can see. Beautiful, perfectly sized butterfly. Just a really gorgeous accent for steampunk projects or other themes. So what I can do is have this as is. I can also then die cut the little butterfly body. Pop that right on top, and this can be as it is as well. So I could stop there. I could also bring in one of the wings, and then here's the other wing. Can go right up like so. And then I've got a beautiful butterfly that's dimensional. So I did this in black and white so that you could see the contrast between the different portions, but I also want to show you. You can see I had a lot of fun with this. You can do this with just the plain elements, as you can see here, but you can also back the wings with different contrasting colors or leave them open. Everything can be popped up on foam tape. You can also add some of those caviar beads in there, and we'll talk more about that as well. But you've got lots and lots of really fun different options for the butterfly. Now, when it comes to sanding, there's also a floral element on the die set, and that looks like this. It can also be sanded too, and so can the compass, which again is popped up with that little star that we saw earlier. Another thing you can do with altering these dies is we've got our elephant image here. Here's the body, the trunk. And if you ink the cardstock piece with some dye-based ink and then die cut that trunk to go up on top, you can create some more dimension. We have our little mouse here with a top hat and some feet. You can add those on. And then I use some simple pen work just to accent his face. So lots and lots of different possibilities here. So then the focal image here, I've inked this, and I've inked it pretty heavily using the Velvet Fawn ink pad. I've inked around the outside edges of my card too. I've got my script dazzle here, and then on the inside, more of that beautiful pattern paper, as well as some more cardstock, another dazzle, and then another kind of simple collage with those die cut elements to finish it off. Our final project today is a journal. Now this journal is simply covered with some of that beautiful red pattern paper, and then I added the focal piece on top. Both pieces have been inked with Velvet Fawn and then glued onto the craft paper cover. So you can see this is the color that it comes. It's a really nice sturdy cover, front and back. And beautiful pages inside. We'll take a look. And it's also got this suede tie going around the outside. Then also to decorate this, I've added some gold cardstock gears here and here too. And then also the butterflies. And the butterflies have caviar beads glued in the center. So let's have a look at this process. It's a really easy technique to do. So I've got in a shallow bowl, I have my butterfly that we just put together, and I thought we can add those caviar beads right in the center. And I have her in a shallow bowl so the beads stay somewhat contained. It's a little bit like embossing powder. And I'm going to use my Cosmic Shimmer acrylic glue in this precision applicator bottle and just add a little bit of that glue in the center. Make sure to get my pin back into my glue bottle. And then from here, taking out some of those beads. And you can just dump them on here if you want to. You don't have to be too terribly careful. Because again, like embossing powder, whatever doesn't stick here can be put back into the bag. So just put some of those there. What I like to do is take a stamping block and then just pop that on top until the glue dries. And this way I can make sure I can see that my beads are staying where I think they should be until that glue is dry. And then I can remove that and then just tap off the rest of the beads back into the bag. So that's what I've done here for my butterfly bodies. And then let's have a look on the inside of the journal. So you can just untie the suede tie. And if you open this up, I've just added in here some of that pattern paper. I added some white cardstock and drew some lines on here for journaling. And I've just done a couple of pages here, but you can see how easy this is to come together. And it's an accordion style album. So you've got lots and lots of pages to work with, 16 pages in total. And then you can tie this up again. Super simple and easy to do. It's a really fun project. It can also go vertically or horizontally, so just depending on which direction you would like that to go. And then you simply tie these up together and you're ready to go. And that is our final project of the day today. Thank you so much for joining me. And I want to say a special thank you to the folks at Paper Wishes for this gorgeous collection of Paper Wishes exclusive steampunk supplies. I had a lot of fun playing with them, as you can see. We're really happy that you're here today, and we are so glad you're part of our Paper Wishes family. Please do feel free to leave a comment. We always love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.